During the season, so much depends on who steps on the mound and who takes the ball for the respective teams. But for the 2013 Phillies in April, the focus will also include who is at the other end of the 60 feet 6 inches from where the pitcher stands. Catching this rotation and catching on from the start of the season is a void that must be filled.
We have basically reached the midway point of spring training, and for the first time we saw the tarp on the field. However, it's been rolled up and put away, so the Tigers fans who have come here to Clearwater today to join with the Phillies fans will get a chance to see baseball. It is overcast. The sun is supposed to come out a little later on. It's the Tigers and the Phils here at Bright House Field. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Chris Wheeler. We have reached basically the midway point of spring training. Still a lot of games left. Phillies have made some cuts over the last handful of days, and so far I think you could say so good. There's some numbers that jump out as being negative, but for the most part, I think everybody's pretty happy with the way camp's gone.
I would agree, Tom, and I think the number one thing is health. That's what you keep looking at. That's one of the most important things for this team this year is to stay healthy. Now, you look at the spring report, there's the one loss, there's a tie, because we do have ties in spring training. And sometimes you have quite a few of them. You see what they've scored as far as runs, hitting some home runs. ERA is really high. Had some crazy games. And, of course, the Dominican game didn't factor into that, thankfully.
Yeah, the ERA is probably the highest number that they're concerned about right now. But that'll start coming down because some of the young guys have now gone back to the minor league camp. Now, some of the answers to questions are starting to be formulated as well. And one big question is, what's going to happen behind the plate for the Phillies?
Well, you would know what it would be if it weren't for Carlos Ruiz's upcoming suspension. We're all aware of the fact that Carlos is going to miss the first 25 games of the season, and it's a big deal when you think about it. But Eric Kratz is one of those guys who stepped up last year and did a really good job for the Phillies, so you would think right now he's going to be the opening day catcher. He throws very well from behind the plate. You see him taking on Chipper Jones, and that play at the plate down in Atlanta late in the season, and the guy has swung the bat well, and also, once again, there's a guy throwing a guy out at second base. So Eric Kratz has been a player that you look at and think he has a chance to play here in the big leagues as the backup. This is the Phillies catching right now. They have some depth in their catching. It's been a long time since you could look at it and see this kind of quality that they have. A couple of these guys, like Joseph, has been sent out. Valle is also gone now. But right now, you look at catching in the Phillies organization, and it is good. Now, Kratz, as we mentioned, was up last year. They had a chance to see him in spring training. So when he came up last year, what did Roy Halladay think the Phillies were going to have?
We knew working with him in spring training that he was a pretty good defensive catcher. I think we were all surprised with the offensive production that he put up for us. So, you know, anytime you miss a big player in your lineup, you know, not only a big influence in the clubhouse but on the field, it's tough. It's hard to overcome.
And that, of course, talking about Carlos Ruiz, but when the game begins today in a few minutes, Roy Halladay will be on the mound. Eric Kratz will be behind the plate.
And Eric's looking forward to it, talking with him earlier today. Roy Halladay should be around 70 pitchers or so, maybe a little bit more for today's ball game. So it is Doc's next turn for the Phillies, getting set to take on the Detroit Tigers. The first pitch of this afternoon's ball game is coming up right after this.
Here in Clearwater, the Phillies and the Detroit Tigers getting together on an overcast afternoon. The sun is supposed to pop up sometime later on today. It's obviously not as wet here as it is back home today as that storm moves up the East Coast, but it has rained for most of the morning. Part of the reason why Chase Utley is not playing second base today, and he is DHing instead, and Kevin Franzen is playing second base. Speaking of lineups, let's go over the Tigers lineup to begin with. Leading it off in center field, former Phil prospect Quentin Berry. Brandon Bosch is the left fielder. He'll bat second. Andy Dirks third. Victor Martinez over at first base bats cleanup. Alex Avila, the catcher, hits fifth. Johnny Peralta bats sixth, followed by Don Kelly, the third baseman. Ramon Santiago, the second baseman, and Brian Pena, the DH today for Jim Leland's squad. And they'll face Roy Halladay on the mound again for the Phils. This is his fourth game of the spring, and so far so good. 7 strikeouts and 6 hits in 8 1/3.
Yeah, has his pinpoint control, which he's had throughout his career. That's one thing he has to have during the season that he really didn't have as much last year, where he could throw his pitches where he wanted to because he was forcing them so much because his body wasn't 100%. That's what he hopes will be different this year. Still so much talk about velocity and the other things involved. With Roy Halladay, you really look for movement. You look for weak swings, broken bats, jammers, those kind of things, and you know he's okay.
His last time out, he threw a lot of changeups, and the changeup was very effective. Today, I asked Eric Kratz what the game plan is, and he said that he hadn't spoken to Doc. This was about an hour and 15 minutes before game time that they were scheduled to start talking a little less than an hour before, but throwing strikes was a key. Quentin Berry leads it off. Berry, the former fifth round draft pick for the Phillies. Last year hit .258 for the Tigers in his first year in the big leagues, and we're underway. And the first pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1. Tigers commit to this ball game with a record of 9-8-1 in the spring. The Phillies 7-8-1. The ball just missed. 1-1 the count. Berry has good speed. He stole 21 bases last year. This is only his 7th at bat of the spring. He'll get some time again this year if he makes the roster out of spring training. He just missed again outside. It's 3-1. Weather today 63 degrees at this point, overcast and breezy. The wind is going out toward right center field.
Yeah, blowing in from left and left centers. It got cooler after the rain.
And that one just missed again. Ball 4. Doc thought it was a strike, and it's the first base runner of the day. Mark Carlson is behind the plate for today's ball game. Phil Cuzzi at first. David Rackley at second, and David Susi is around at third. The umpires in the field, as we always tell you during spring training games, will rotate as the game moves on. There will be less and less of that as we move forward for the rest of March. Here's Brennan Bosch, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. I think the thought is that Doc will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 pitches this afternoon for today's ball game. This being his 4th start of the spring. Runner goes. He slipped a little bit. Pitch is swung out and missed. The throw not in time. He picked a good pitch to run on.
Yeah, he threw him a changeup. It was a really good one. It may have been playing hit and run there, it looked like. Not a real good jump over there. As Tom said, the base runner very slipped. See if he even looks in. No, maybe a straight steal. But the hitter just swung and missed it. The pitcher dropped a foot.
I guess it wasn't even as much a slip as he looked like he just got stuck when he was starting his crossover.
Well, it's probably a little moist out there.
Another good pitch. 1-2 the count.
He was trying some sinkers and backdoor cutters to the first hitter. More off speed here to Bosch.
He didn't throw a lot of curveballs his last time out, which is what he relied on an awful lot last season.
In fact, they're going to go change up again, and now it took a little bit of time to get there, so I think the hitter called timeout more than Halladay wants to change. We'll see if they go back to the same thing with the wiggle. Although there's a runner at second, so it's hard to tell what they're doing. I don't know what it is.
Swing and a miss. That was a cutter, it looked like. And there's one away. First strikeout for Halladay. And that'll bring Andy Dirks to the plate. I mentioned we're about halfway through spring training, so this is Doc's 4th start of the spring. I guess he'll be anywhere around 7 or 8 starts before we head north.
Yeah, and starts are important, but what it comes down to are innings. They want a certain number of innings, like at-bats from hitters. And where they get them, they don't care. Sometimes they'll send them over the complex, and you'll look at their innings and their starts and think, well, that doesn't seem like enough. But yet they got their work in. And that's all something that Rich Doobie factors into whether his guy's ready or not.
Andy Dirks the batter, and Dirks hits one foul. It's 0-1. Today, there are a number of pitchers who are on the backfield who are throwing their quote-unquote innings. Jonathan Papelbon is one, and Mike Adams is another.
Yeah, you're getting to that point now where there are squad cuts, where you have the minor league games back there where they're able to get work for everybody. And that's when you know you're getting into the middle to the later part of spring training, because everything's starting to get a little more normal now. There's even spots in the parking lot. Guys have to move to the other parking lot, down at the complex.
Phillies made some changes today. B.J. Rosenberg, Tyler Cloyd, all back on the backfields now. 0-2 the count to Andy Dirks.
Get a rainy day like this, now they got that great indoor stuff. Used to be you get a rainy day, you had some indoor stuff. Long time we didn't have anything indoor down here. Now they can go inside and they can long toss. And there's all kinds of things they can do with that tremendous facility that we've been talking about.
Ground ball foul. And it remains 0-2. Dirks last year hit .322 with 8 home runs and 35 runs batted in 88 games. So far this spring, he's 8 for 26. He does have a home run and a couple of runs batted in.
That was a cutter. You can see it come running in on Dirks. He didn't swing at it. And that's a very good pitch for Roy Halladay, because either if they hit it fair, it's not going to go anywhere, or they're going to pull it foul.
A little low with the sinker, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tigers have brought a handful of their everyday players with them here today, including Victor Martinez, Alex Avila, Johnny Peralta. And they've also brought Ramon Santiago, who's kind of a utility guy for Jim Leyland's squad. Quentin Berry is probably going to be in the mix somewhere as far as outfielders go for Jim Leyland in his 22nd season as a big league manager. And now it's full 3-2. Doc was ahead 0-2. He's fallen behind 3 balls and 2 strikes. Victor Martinez is on deck. So Berry goes back to second. 8 pitches so far, 5 foul balls. Well, Doc is trying to find that put-away pitch right now for Andy Dirks. Stepped off a couple times already this inning.
Yeah, well, there's a little confusion on what they want to throw. Of course, they go through different signs now, too, and his signs can be a little tough.
Over towards second, a base hit past Franzen. So a run will score. Berry will come home easily from second. Then Revere's throw, a little offline at second base. An RBI single for Dirks, and it's 1-0 Detroit. As you can probably hear in the background, there are a number of Tiger fans who are here in Clearwater.
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of Midwest people from the Midwest live in this area. A lot of Tiger fans here, and probably some, of course, are visiting in Lakeland, which is about an hour and a half from here. Inland a little bit, northeast. And their team's kind of fun to watch, to say the least. They were in the World Series.
Yeah, they picked up Torrey Hunter this year to help stabilize some things in the outfield after they lost Delman Young, who's now with the Phillies. Victor Martinez, the batter, with a runner at first, and Martinez takes a strike. It's 0-1. Martinez so far this spring 6 for 28 as he comes back from a torn ACL that cost him the entire 2012 season. In 2011, he hit .330 with 12 home runs and 103 RBIs. And it's now no balls and 2 strikes.
He gets ahead of another hitter, too. That was a really good curveball that he threw there. Now, he likes his changeup a lot when he gets 2 strikes on a hitter because that's a strikeout pitch. See if Kratz go with a little waggle with nobody on second. The signs are more straightforward.
Over to third. Michael Young is there. Good play. There's one. Franzen's throw to first is in time. That's a fancy 5-4-3 double play. Started by Michael Young. Halladay is through the first. He does allow a run on the RBI single by Andy Dirks. I'll tell you, ever since the first game here in Clearwater, Michael Young's defense has been pretty impressive for the Phils. Now 1-0. Let's take a look at Charlie Manuel's starting lineup for this afternoon's ball game. Leading it off in center field is Ben Revere. Kevin Franzen's over at second base. He'll bat second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Michael Young. Dominic Brown's having a fantastic spring. He's in left field hitting sixth. And the bottom third of Mayberry, Kratz, and Yuneski Betancourt. And they'll face Tiger left-hander Drew Smiley. Second time this spring the Phillies have faced Smiley. He's 2-0 so far. He has not allowed a run in 9 innings of work. So I think if you're the Tigers, you've got to be pretty happy with those numbers.
We talked about him the first time he was here and watching him. He looked pretty impressive. He had good sinker, changeup, pitched inside a little bit to right-handed batters, and controlled the game pretty well. If I think back, he probably was only out there for 2 innings the last time he was here, and this was early in the spring. But he had good stuff. I think he really had an idea how to pitch.
All right, Wheels, he went 2 innings. He allowed 1 hit. It was a single by Ryan Howard. Got a double play ball and was able to get 3 ground balls.
Yeah, sinkers.
Only 1 ball left the infield. It was the single by Howard.
Like I said, I kind of remembered it.
Here's Ben Revere. Revere 13 for 40 this spring. He has scored 7 runs. His on-base percentage has been good, too. It's a .357 so far for this spring. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Revere hit .294 last year with no home runs and 32 runs batted in. That ball's hit well to left center field. Playable, though, for Bosch. Ooh, no, the center fielder, Berry, came over and he dropped it. I'm not sure why he decided to call him off on that.
Yeah, especially with the wind blowing in the way that it is from left field. Those balls turn into parachutes out there. Want the center fielder catch whatever he can, but in that case, that ball was right there for Bosch to catch with the wind knocking it down. Not a hard play at all. See, it's right at him, and he called it, and now the center fielder must have called him off. And Revere running hard the whole way. He has stopped a little bit there, and now he sees a little hesitation, and with that great speed of his, he gets a second easily.
Well, they have scored at a double, so the Phillies have a runner in scoring position for Franzen.
Maybe some fan yelled, "I got it."
Franzen shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Because there was no reason really to call him off on that play.
No, you're right. A center fielder should try to get everything he can, but in that case, the left fielder was already under it.
Under it with the wind knocking it down right into his lap.
So much for a slow start to spring training for Franzen. He has scored 7 runs. He's driven in 5. He's hit 2 home runs.
That's a nice job by Kevin right there to give himself up. Try to. Even with a strike on him, you can see him trying to hit that ball to the right side. The way you want to do is a 2-hole hitter in this spot.
0-2 the count to Franzen with Utley waiting on deck.
Still try. And it's hard to do with 2 strikes. You're on your own now. And managers, coaches know, hey, give me an effort early. If you didn't get it done, then understand that it can be a little bit harder to do it with 2 strikes because, you know, you can just put it in play somehow that way. You'll get them over. They really try to bust inside a lot of times in this situation because they know the hitter in his mind saying, darn, I didn't get him over yet. If he gives me something out there, maybe I can do it. Something away, and they'll come inside. Make it tougher. They can't figure out what they want to do.
Well, number foul, and it remains no balls and 2 strikes.
Normally you don't see pitchers throw a changeup here, something, or they will throw a changeup or something a little slower sometimes because they're trying to get the guy to hook it. The right-handed hitter to hook it to the right side or the left side.
Still trying to fight it off and go to the other way.
And there was the curveball we mentioned because the pitcher and the catcher are thinking, all right, let's throw something slow, and he'll roll it over, and we'll get the out, and the runner will stay at second. And he did. He tried to inside out that. That's really tough to do. Now, if that hook's hanging out over the plate, hey, he can hit it the other way. Not where that one was.
Fly ball to center field. Berry makes the catch. Revere's going to third. The throw by Berry nowhere near. Didn't have enough on it at all. So Franzen does get the job done. He gets the runner over to third.
See, you want to see a guy who knows how to play. Now, Franzen did a great job working at it. That's all on Revere, what he did. Number one is he goes back and gets near the bag to tag up in case, even though it's shallow. Now watch him go back. He gets under control there. Now, as soon as he sees that outfielder have to drift at the end, boom, he's gone. Now, he has a little bit of advantage over other people. He can fly. But if you don't do everything fundamentally the way that he just did, and then the guy drifts at the last second, you can't do it. If you get caught in between, that right there that's a ball player. That's a guy who knows how to play, and that's fun.
And we have seen a lot of that, not only from Revere, but from the Phillies from a base running standpoint this spring, haven't we?
Some guys never learn to do that. They don't get it.
Utley takes a strike. It's 0-1. The infield is in for Chase. Chase so far 3 runs batted in this spring. 4 for 24. Mentioned he was in the starting lineup as the second baseman before the tarp was taken off the field, but because of the rain and there's a lot of moisture out in the outfield, they decided to make him the DH. Fouls it back. It's 0-2. Phillies have scored enough runs this spring, you would think, to win games. They've averaged just under 6 runs per game. Probably the biggest problem is late in games, their earned run average is pretty lofty.
They had this situation in a game against the Rays the other day in the first inning, and Utley hit a bullet right at the second baseman with a drawn-in infield. Of course, that turned into a high-scoring game later on.
That game kind of got out of the way. A little number towards shortstop. Peralta thought about coming home, but Revere was blazing down the line. It's an RBI for Utley. It's a 1-1 ball game.
I think he was going on contact, and then the ball's nubbed off the end of the bat. It's going slowly to Peralta. Speed. Oh, is it fun to have a guy that can run like that, Revere? That's what we heard about him. That run was his speed. First of all, to get the third on the play that he did and then score like this. See if he's going on contact. Yep. And Peralta takes a look and says, I got no shot. I may as well get the out here and let it be 1-1.
That wouldn't even been a bang-bang play if he threw home.
No shot.
So a 1-1 game. Here's Ryan Howard.
Utley appreciates that because he gets a ribbie.
Yeah, the RBI for Utley is 4th of the spring. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to Ryan.
Phillies have not had a guy
who can have the combination of speed that Revere has and understand how to use it in a long, long time, I think.
Even better than J-Roll sometimes?
J-Roll, yeah, Jimmy Rollins is probably one of those guys at one point. But, you know, you really didn't think about Jimmy Rollins that way. You know, Pierre they had last year, except he was at the point in his career where he couldn't run like he used to. But he understood what he was doing. Revere's in his prime as far as that goes.
Howard rolls it into shallow right field. Phillies do tie it up on the RBI and the ground out by Chase Utley and the base running by Ben Revere. We go to the second. It's the Tigers 1 and the Phillies 1. Was in the office today, and he was talking about the fact that the Phillies opened the season against the Kansas City Royals at home. He didn't realize that. He said the Royals is your home opener. That's right. It's a 3-game series. Saturday the 6th, Turkey Hill Kids opening night. A Jimmy Rollins replica Gold Glove trophy for fans 14 and under.
It's always nice when Jimmy says he didn't know something. I enjoy that.
It's not often that he does that.
He's good baseball. I learned a lot from him.
Here's Alex Avila, who takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Jimmy is confident, and he's opinionated and very confident.
He was always a good guy to talk to too when he was the manager of the Phillies. Yep. I was a sports writer at that time, and we would be in his office for hours.
He loves to talk the game. He's a baseball guy. Hey, he's still in the game. He doesn't have to be in the game at this point, and still enjoys it. And you know, he's got that personality. Sometimes people don't like it. And he could care less. He is what he is.
0-2 the count to Alex Avila. Avila 5 for 24 this spring for the Tigers. He is their everyday catcher. Last year he hit 243. A couple of years ago he had 19 home runs and 82 runs batted in.
Father's in the front office with the Tigers.
Hits that one hard. So an 0-2 pitch that was up, and Avila's aboard with the second hit of the day for the Tigers. So it's a 1-1 game. You know, the Phillies manufactured a run in the first inning. Kevin Franzen was a big part of that, coming off a solid second half in 2012. And Murph, you had a chance to catch up with him today about what his offseason was like getting ready for this year.
Yeah, I did. I asked him if his approach to spring was any different this year, and he said, you know what? A little bit, because we remember last year he finished the season with a stress fracture. Well, he told me that he was swinging a hot bat at the time, and he had figured something out with his swing, so he didn't want to stop. So even while in a boot during the offseason, he was in the cages almost every day swinging the bat. And he came into spring training feeling very confident. And, guys, I think we're seeing that right now. He's well over 300 again. But he just didn't want to lose that feeling that he found sometime during last season.
Well, I think you're right about that, Murph. You know, Kevin has always said that he's a slow starter when it comes to spring training. And I think that it was important for him and I know he has told me this, but to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
And he certainly, in every facet, I think he has so far this spring.
Yeah, you know, we talk so much about who's going to make this roster, who will be heading north, and the guys that are involved in those talks. Kevin Fratt, you know, I said, do you feel confident that you're going to be with this team on opening day? He said, you know, I don't even think about it. He said, well, obviously it's in the back of my mind because I want to be, but he's just trying to go out every day, impress these guys like he did at the end of last season, and hope that when they have those final roster cuts that he is not a part of those cuts and that he's heading north with the team. But that's the approach these guys have to take. If you're not already penciled in with a starting spot, you know, you got to work for it down there.
The one thing you have to do, Murph, is what he did. That at bat that he had, you know, you can hit home runs, doubles, but to move a runner the way he did was impressive.
Well, this one is going to move the runners around the bases. It's going to be a 2-run home run for Don Kelly. That's going to give the Tigers a 3-1 lead. That pitch was down right where Kelly and any left-hander likes it. And he drove it into the berm in right center field. So the Mount Lebanon High School graduate hits a 2-run home run against Roy Halladay.
It looked like a tumbling changeup there. No, we find out later, but that it didn't look like it was. It just looked like a changeup that sat up in the zone a little bit. And
yeah, actually, look at the replay. You're right. It looked like it was up, not down.
It was tumbling. His changeup goes down in a hurry when he throws a good one, and that one just didn't get out of the zone in time.
Well, for Kelly, that's his 7th hit of the spring. He's now 7 for 23. Here's Ramon Santiago. Santiago hits it towards second, off the glove of Franzen, and into shallow center field.
That hit him on the. I think that hit him up near the wrist or the forearm area.
Yeah,
hopefully he's all right.
He's holding it a little bit. He's fighting that pain somewhat. Oh, 3rd hit of the inning now for the Tigers. And Brian Pena, who spent the last 4 years with the Kansas City Royals, is going to be up against Roy. They're giving Franzen a few moments out at second base right now. That's why Kratz is out on the mound. He's stretching out that hand.
It looked like it hit him above the glove. On the flesh, either the wrist or on the forearm area there, underneath.
Pena 4 for 18 this spring. He's the number 9 batter for the Tigers. And that ball gets away from Kratz, so Santiago's going to go up to second.
I don't know if that hit the ground or not. Here's a look right there. He tries to yeah, right there where we thought. You backhand a ball like that, and then it takes that kind of hop, and he's got a chance to get some flesh.
1 man down here in the second. 2 runs have scored for the Tigers. Pena last year hit 236, for Kansas City, with a couple of home runs, 25 runs batted in. His last outing, Doc's last outing, he had very good control. Today he doesn't have the same kind of command
on any pitch,
and that happens from time to time, particularly during spring training.
They're trying to find something that he really feels he can command right now. Looks like
2 balls, 2 strikes the count to Pena. Fouled that one, I think, off himself, and then it's shot over toward the on-deck circle for the Phillies. Doc has faced the Tigers one other time this spring. That was in his opener up in Lakeland. And once he was done with that outing, it left a number of Tigers hitters impressed with what he had to offer. I think there's a discrepancy about the count right now. Mark Carlson saying something to Jim Leland. They thought it was ball 4. I think it is 3-2. I think the count is right on the board. And now it's ball 4. So first and second with one man down. And that's the second walk issued by Doc. Remember what Torrey Hunter said after that outing. Jim Leland said the same things about Doc. They were saying how impressive he looked that day in Lakeland. Quentin Berry walked and scored his only time up.
When he walks 2 guys in 2 innings, and you normally feel that his command isn't real good, because that's normally the quota for an outing.
That one's tapped to the right side. Halladay makes a really good play. And he'll tag Berry out. The runners move up. Berry was playing the limbo with him. One unassisted, and there are 2 outs.
And the bar got him.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Because he nearly scored it underneath that his glove.
That's a pretty good move. And he's in the baseline, too.
Well, now second and third with 2 outs. It'll bring Brennan Bosch to the plate. He struck out his only time up. By the way, we did go back and look at each of the pitches back in the truck, and the count was correct, as we mentioned, with Brian Pena.
A lot of publicity about ball down the line.
Well, the young lady the other day who made the play, well, the ball was fair, but she made it as if it was foul. She made a very nice play. And that's the second time that happened this spring. It happened earlier. Now, that one wasn't as clean a play, the first one. I thought maybe they'd show that one a little bit more.
Well, it's like a good hitter. You have to wait a little longer now after that. Make sure it's foul.
I think they keep moving them back a little bit, too. 1-1 the count to Bosch. And outside, 2-1.
Be some reorientation going on.
Could be.
Now remember, and I'm sure that they talked to him about that before the game, but the bottom line is pretty good publicity for this place. It's all over the country.
Well, for this place and for that place, too.
And for the sponsor. Yeah, for Hooters. Really an effort right now.
Now, this is not the young lady who was featured these last couple of days.
Right, there's a number of women who rotate here for these games.
3-1 the count. And ball 4. 3 walks for Doc. Rich Doobie's going to go out to the mound. They may get somebody up. You know, Doc is at 45 pitches, which is below his quota, but he is scuffling right now.
Yeah, his command's just way off right now. Mick Billmeyer just went in the dugout to call the bullpen.
I think he thought one of the pitches that was called a ball was on the outside part of the plate. He just mentioned something, Eric Kratz, as he came out.
Right, but it's not a matter of him getting squeezed here this afternoon. She say one of the pitches. He is out of the zone today.
So as Rich Doobie goes out to the mound, it looks like there will be bullpen action. Jeremy Horst has grabbed a glove and a baseball. Phillies are going to have a handful of left-handers that they're planning on utilizing today as the battle for the bullpen spots begins to heat up a little bit more. Well, Doc can get himself out of this. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the second. Andy Dirks, an RBI single his last time up. And he pops the first pitch foul, 0-1 the count. Wills would like to welcome the sun back to Clearwater right now.
It'll be back later today and then here for quite some time, it looks like.
It's brightened up nicely.
This front went through.
Ground ball foul, 0-2.
Weekend is people coming down here this weekend. I know a lot of people are planning their weekends. It is really going to be nice.
Yeah, I went home for a day and came back last night, and the airplane was packed with Philly fans getting ready to come down.
It'll be sunny tomorrow. It'll be a little cooler, but by Friday, Nice.
And a called strike 3. A little pain on the inside part of the plate. Dirks is questioning the call. It looked like a really good pitch. And the side is retired. 2-run score for the Tigers. They take a 3-1 lead. And Doc gets the black on the inner half. Utley's been the heart of the Phillies' run, but what is his long-term future in red pinstripes? We'll ask the 5-time All-Star himself. Plus, count down his top 5 moments with the club on Phillies Focus, Sunday night at 10:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies down 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the second. Michael Young will start it off for the Phillies. Young's had a very good spring. Offensively, I think defensively, too. I think he's moved quite well defensively over at third. He's made plays on the backhand. He's made plays on the glove side.
He works at it. There's no doubt about it. He really works hard at it. And he also says the key to it, as far as he's concerned, is it's his only position. You don't have to take a bunch of gloves out there.
He has 13 hits this spring, hitting .371. He has scored 7 runs. He's driven in 9.
That has always been the best part of his game. The guy can hit.
0-1 the count to Young. 0-2 the count. Michael Young will begin 2013 with 2,230 hits. Easily has his sights set on 2,500 for his career. And then who knows after that, after he reaches 2,500. Over toward the hole and surrounded by Peralta.
Batting 6, the left fielder, number 9, Dominic Brown.
One away. 6-3 on the putout. Dominic Brown will get a chance to bat for the first time. There is certainly a positive buzz surrounding Dominic Brown. His offense has been self-explanatory with his statistics. I mean, he's 16 for 37. How about the fact he has scored 15 runs so far in 16 games?
Well, he's walked a lot, too. Walk as much as he's walked it. You'd like to think that's because he's seeing the ball pretty well.
Fouls it away. It's 0-2. Now, where he will play defensively once spring training comes to a close, that's still the question. He's getting time in right field. He's getting time in left field, I should say. Charlie Manuel and Ruben Amaro both have said it doesn't matter where he plays in the outfield. Doesn't matter if he plays right. Doesn't matter if he plays left. He's had so much time at both of those positions that I don't think he's fazed by it.
Little things you watch for a young player like this. What's his approach like with a left-handed pitcher? Does he give in a little bit? Because you almost have to. You have to think contact here. And the guy makes a mistake, maybe he can nail one, but you're trying to stay alive, put the ball in play, get on base.
Checks his swing, 3-2 the count. They do appeal.
That's a good job. That was an off-speed pitch of some kind, whether it's breaking ball or changeup, went straight down, and he stayed off it. And now, you know, the odds are he could get a fastball to hit here with a pitcher out there with a 2-run lead.
He does get the fastball. He fouls it away.
He's a little bit late on it, but even though he's 3-2, he's defensive because it's a left-handed pitcher. But less than he was when it was 1-2.
There's Darren Ruff, who's the other part of the equation, in left field at least, for the Phillies. He has not had the same spring offensively that Dominic Brown has had. There's a breaking pitch.
It's good at bat. Here we go again. Deep count, foul some pitches off, give yourself a chance. He may make an out here, but you go back in the 8th pitch of the at bat coming up, you go back and think, battle left-hander. You just keep looking for little things with him. And as you said, Tom, there's a lot of positives.
That one is hit down the left field line. Going to be a tough play for Bosch, and it is a foul ball. Tough play for Bosch. Would have been an easy play for Murph if he realized it was going to go foul. He would have settled under it.
Well, you know, you got all that ball girl stuff going on in your mind when you're down there. And you're Murph, too. You don't want to get in the way.
Murph, was there a lack of confidence on your part as to whether you would have caught that ball, or you were wondering if it was fair or foul?
You know, I want to get into game of play there, but I probably would have pulled that one in pretty easily.
Pretty easily.
You saw his wiffle ball act. He didn't
I did. That's why I'm wondering why he didn't make a move. You could have called Bosch off on that.
I know I was impressed because I wasn't going to chase any of those.
Yeah, I noticed I ran the other direction.
Well,
that's a very good move.
Probably the smart way to do it there. Ground ball left side. Two gone here in the second. And they'll bring John Mayberry to the plate. I wouldn't ask you this during the regular season at all, but for Brown, that was a good at bat.
Good at bat. Yeah, I'm sure he's not happy tapping out weekly to third on a 3-2 pitch. But the bottom line was he saw a lot of pitches from a left-hander. And I think that, I don't think they would agree down there on the bench that that's a good thing at this point in spring training, that he's just not up there wailing at everything. 3 pitches and you're back in the dugout. You didn't learn anything.
A game has not gone by, at least the last few games, where we have not seen Dominic Brown reach base safely.
Yeah, now if you saw some of those swings that he had there off a right-hander, it'd be different. It wouldn't be as good in that bat.
Shallow right field. That was a tough play. Santiago missed it. Mayberry kept on running, and he's out at second base. He didn't hesitate, but the play was backed up well by Victor Martinez. So it's probably going to be a single, and then Mayberry's thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. And we'll go to the third. Get suited up for spring training at the official online shop of the Phillies with the largest selection of authentic spring training gear, including clubhouse caps and T-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get set for spring at the official source, thephillies.com shop. We go to the third. By the way, we purchased a great new golf shirt today from Diamond Outfitters that we're going to wear on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day. It is a hunter green St. Patrick's Day golf shirt.
Is that what that color was?
I think that's what
hunter
it is.
Green?
Yeah. We wore Kelly green last year. We're going with hunter green this year. It's a really sharp golf shirt. It's got some gray piping on the top. If fans are interested in purchasing it. We start third. Victor Martinez grounded into a double play his first time up. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Roy Halladay's expression just then when he threw that, he's very frustrated because he just can't get the ball where he wants to today.
But they do have a pitch count that they'd like him to get to, and I think he'd probably like to get to it and see if he can figure some things out. But he's missing in that almost same spot.
Well, it's been this way the whole game. He just came right out and didn't have good location.
Ball 4, so Martinez walks, and that's the 4th walk already issued by Doc.
Yeah, they're going to go right back in the dugout, Mick is, and get somebody back up again. That pitch actually looked like it had a little bit, like it was trying to sink a little bit down and away, but it was still high and outside.
Here's Alex Avila with a runner at first.
That's Ray Burris on Mick's end of the Mick's former end of the phone.
Yeah, that's Jeremy Horst, who starts the throw for a second time. Ray Burris will be the pitching coach at Lehigh Valley for the 2013 season. Rod Nichols will be in the bullpen for the Phillies.
Very experienced guy is Ray Burris. Even his tried backdoor a little bit with some hitters, these left-handed hitters, and whether he's not getting through or finishing. Let him explain it later.
That ball is rocketed to center field. Revere is going out there. It's over his head. A one-hop off the wall. Martinez is being held at third. And Avila will pull into second. Runners on second and third with nobody out here in the third.
That pitch is right down the middle.
The Tigers have had base runners in each inning so far. They scored a run in the first, 2 in the second. Now they have 2 on here.
See the location of that one? That looked like another changeup that tumbled a little bit, and it was in the middle of the plate and hittable.
The Phillies will play the infield halfway with Johnny Peralta at the plate. Tigers do not have speed on the bases right now. And a breaking ball that misses high, 1-0. Peralta flying out to left.
Mitch Stubbe doing a lot of writing down there right now, taking his notes that he does during the game and just looking out there. As you said, Tom, they want to get him to a certain point, but you wonder the way it's going right now whether they will. That was a changeup that missed.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Those notes that Wheels was just talking about that Dubes is writing down. Each pitch. Broke his bat. Slow roller to shortstop. That will not get the run home. Betancourt throws out Peralta. Boy, he obliterated that bat of Johnny Peralta. 1 away.
That is, we talked about that in the opening and stuff. That's a good sign. When you see him, that when we first got Roy Halladay came over here and used to watch him with Toronto, he was death to bats. Splat, crack, barrels flying all over the place. And You know, that isn't quite the same thing going on right now. And right there, to see him break a bat's a good sign. That pitch had some run into a right-handed hitter.
I thought the pitch prior to that did too. It had some sink on it.
Yeah, it started away and came towards the plate. That's the one there that he can get a right-handed hitter out because it'll run in on him.
Well, the infield again halfway. Don Kelly, the batter. Kelly homered his last time up. A 2-run shot that gave the Tigers the lead. They lead it 3-1.
Roy Halladay's no different than any other major league pitcher. If you can't command your fastball, the rest of the stuff, then you're really going to get lucky if you get by with it.
Down the left field line, Dominic Brown will give it a look, but it's out of play.
You're going to pitch off your fastball at this, especially at this level, and then the guys with the other really good stuff like he has can dominate. But if you're not pitching off your fastball and you're not getting strikes with it or good strikes with it, they start sitting on the. You can eliminate a big league pitcher's fastball a lot of times. It's trouble.
Nice play by Kratz. Did that get him? Yeah, it did. So the bases are loaded.
It was a breaking ball. Looked like chased him.
So a dead ball. And now the Phillies will set up, I would think, a double play depth with Santiago coming up.
There you see the breaking ball.
Right in the foot.
Couldn't get the foot out of the way. Yeah, 1 out right now. They'd be happy to just get the 2 and get out of here.
Santiago lifts one to deep right field. Forget about it. It's a grand slam. And it's 7-1 Tigers. Well, it's Detroit's second home run of the game against Doc. That one was a backbreaker. Santiago not known as a home run hitter. Well, he found a pitch he could drive.
Yeah, that pitch was down, but it was in the middle of the plate.
Now Brian Pena, the hitter. Pena walked his last time up. 7 runs on 6 hits now for the Tigers. Tough to know what to make of the outing, whether it be just poor command or just one of those days. We'll hear what Doc says after the ball game. It'll probably be later on in the day, but Murph will be down there to listen to what he has to say. But after the first 3 outings, when he was 2-0 with an ERA of 2.16 and had 7 strikeouts and 8 1/3, this is one of those that makes you pause for a little bit. Two and 2 the count. Back toward the middle. Betancourt is there. And there are 2 outs, and that's going to be it for Halladay. Doc reaches 69 pitches. We said he'd be around 70 for the afternoon. So instead of having him start against another batter, they'll bring in Jeremy Horst. At least that's the plan. Rich Doobie's already signaled to the pen. He signaled before he reached the third base line. So the Tigers have scored 7 runs on 6 hits. They've hit 2 home runs so far. We have a pitching change here in the top of the 3rd in Clearwater. 7-1 Tigers. Couple outs here in the top of the third, and we've got our first pitching change of the day. Just that young guy is just finishing up his first ice cream helmet of the spring. Jeremy Horst will take over for Roy Halladay. Halladay goes 2 2/3, allows 7 runs on 6 hits. So now Horst into the ball game. Jeremy's pitched well his last couple of outings after a really rough outing against the Baltimore Orioles down in Sarasota earlier this spring. And he'll face Quentin Berry, who is up for the 3rd time in today's game. 0 for 1, grounded out his first time up. Talked to Jeremy for a while today because we mentioned a few outings ago against Baltimore. His numbers, well, they exploded. The Orioles just scored a lot of runs against him. He said that was one of those games that he's just going to try to forget, go out there and just try to throw strikes. He throws strikes to Quentin Berry, gets a fine play from Kevin Franzen and Ryan Howard, and the side is retired. However, the damage is done. What damage, you say? Well, Ramon Santiago hit a grand slam off Roy Halladay. 4-run score in the inning, and the Tigers are up 7-1. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Is it a time you experience good banking? Well, sold out crowd here this afternoon at Bright House Field. Overcast for most of the day. And how about this? Wills, the Philly fanatic, has made his way back to Bright House Field.
There was a rumor he was around today. There he is.
Now that's more of the Kelly green. We're talking about Hunter green and Kelly green. The fanatic is more of Kelly green.
Ours is much darker than that.
Much darker, yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait. I bet people can't wait till Sunday to see those.
Well, on Thursday, the fanatic will join us to show some of the promotional items that will be given out during the course of the 2013 season. Murph will kind of be our Bob Barker. He'll be our MC, our game show host.
Is he going to model stuff?
He may not, but he may bring the Hooters ball girls in to model some stuff. We've had that happen before.
Yes.
Eric Kratz leads it off. It's 0-1 to Kratz. Smiley throws a breaking pitch for a strike. It's 0-2.
Certainly would be a distraction for Murph.
Probably be a better model than Murph would be.
Well,
though.
Murph likes St. Patrick's Day. We were talking about that stuff this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a festive guy.
You're a festive guy.
I don't know quite how to word it.
Let's go with festive.
Festivus for the rest of us, Murph. That's what you always say.
That's right.
Murph likes the Kelly green or the Hunter green shirts that we're wearing. He likes Kelly green better, though. But we're going with Hunter green for this Sunday.
I'm telling you, the anticipation for Sunday's telecast is building. I can feel it right now.
Line drive foul, and it remains 0-2 to Kratz.
Make sure we tune in on Sunday because we want to see those shirts. And people are probably going to want to buy them.
Well, you can buy them right now at the Diamond Outfitters Club if you want to wear it back home alongside us.
Yep. Coming here over the weekend and grab one. Like that guy made a heck of a play on a deflection. One-handed grab.
Swing and a miss. And Kratz down on strikes, one away.
This guy has a real good clue of how to pitch.
Smiley picks up a strikeout. Murph, you got some breaking news for us, huh?
Well, you know, I just thought.
You're showing it off.
There it is.
Pretty sharp, huh?
It is pretty sharp.
I think Sarge is going to look really good in this.
Murph has decided he's going to wear pants that match that gray right there. He's going to be like he's going to look like an athletic trader.
I think they're very nice, though.
Yeah, they are very
in
nice.
honor of St. Patrick's Day.
What did we decide goes with them?
Either black pants or I think tan pants, right? Or gray. Murph has gray.
I think we'd go with the gray. Yeah.
You going to wear a gray belt with that?
I haven't given it that much thought yet, Tom, but I'll let you know.
Not a white one.
Yeah, no, not a white one. I'm not a good enough golfer to wear a white belt.
I like that shirt, though. That's going to be a good-looking shirt. 2-0 the count to Uneski Betancourt.
That could be keep people calling the Diamond Outfitters store from Philadelphia right now. Please save me one.
3-0 the count. I think we did take the last medium, though, Wheels, for you. So there's the Diamond Outfitters store.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
There are larges and extra larges that are available.
I certainly don't need a 10.
3-1 the count to Betancourt. Betancourt getting a lot of time at shortstop this spring with Jimmy Rollins out at the World Baseball Classic. There was a time during Sunday's game against Canada where folks thought that Jimmy might be back here in Clearwater by today. Instead, Pete Orr and Philippe Almont, and some of the other guys that participated with Team Canada, John Swomey, they are back in camp. Ground ball toward the hole, base hit for Betancourt, a one-out single. Third hit of the day for the Phillies.
Yeah, congratulations, Joe Torre and coaching staff, which includes the very enthusiastic Larry Boa.
Larry Boa has been a show all by himself with that microphone on. I think it's been hysterical to watch.
He is.
His exuberance is remarkable.
There's nothing phony about him as far as competition goes. So, never been around him where something was happening that he didn't want to win more than you did.
Well, thank goodness for Adam Jones the other day, because Adam Jones was a big part of that victory for the United States.
Sure was. Game will be on tonight.
The United States will open up the second round tonight. They'll do so in Miami.
Yep.
Here's Ben Revere, who doubled and scored back in the first. He tied the game up at 1. Tigers have since scored 6 runs. They lead at 7-1.
Yeah, Revere, that was a really nice run. Talked about the way he ran the bases, anticipated what happened. The center fielder, Barry, just had to go back a little bit when the ball took off on him at the end, and he tagged and went to third. There's the USA's path right now in the World Baseball Classic. As Tom said, losing the first game, then coming back and winning 2.
Yeah, 9-4 win over Canada. That game was really close. I mean, that was kind of a nail biter as it was moving on.
They were losing 3-2 after 7. Almont came in and got out of it. You know, was in a jam, got out of it.
Philippe talked today about getting back and just how good he felt pitching in the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, he commented on the brawl that took place between Canada and Mexico.
He struck out Shane Victorino in one of those real good splits in a key spot in that inning when the U.S. was trying to come back.
Toward right field. That ball's pretty well hit. Going back on it is Dirks. It's over his head. A one hop off the wall. Betancourt goes to third. He'll be held there. And Ben Revere has 2 doubles this afternoon.
Well, you can see how the ball is flying to right and right center with this wind coming in from the left field corner. The 2 balls that the Tigers hit, granted they were smoked, both of them, but Revere got a hanging breaking ball there, and he's kept his hands back pretty well and got it up into that jet stream. And that hit up on the wall, right on the base of the wall.
Yeah, Ben Revere, so far in his major league career, has 1,064 plate appearances, 989 at bats without a home run. Phillies will take those 2 doubles, though. They'll take it any day. Well, now Franz in the batter with Betancourt over third and Revere at second.
He'll hit a home run or 2 this year.
I think he will, too.
Not the guy's game, though. You know, he starts thinking about hitting home runs. Get totally out of what he does.
Well, I think one of his Twins teammates said, it's hard to hit home runs at Target Field. It's a big place.
Yeah. Citizens Bank Park is more friendly. Kevin Franson up now in a situation where he can let it go a little bit. First time up, he's trying to move a runner, did a good job fighting pitches off. Now down by 6 runs, second and third, 1 out. You're on your own. Hit it hard somewhere.
Fights off another pitch, and it's 2-2 to Franzen.
You watch Smiley pitches in enough, then he can go away with this. He wants to get you out of the way a lot. It looks like these right-handed hitters, but he'll come in like he did right there, and now maybe they'll go for the out away. Stay away from a guy's pull power.
Smiley last year started 18 games for the Tigers. He went 4-3 at an ERA of 3.99. Over to the right side. That's a base hit for Franzen. 1 run will score. Revere's being held. The throw sails and gets away. Now Revere's going to score. Franzen goes to second. It's now a 7-3 ball game.
It's a nice job by Kevin Franson again. It looked like they tried to go away, and he may have even looked out their way, anticipating that, well, they came in on me. Now they're going to try and get me out of the way. Pitch didn't get as far enough away as they wanted. He smokes this thing. Now Ryan Sandberg playing conservatively down by all those runs. Right fielder comes up and just fires that away, does dirt. And now Revere can walk home, and Franson will be at second.
And the Phillies have a chance to add on another one with Chase Utley at the plate. It's now a 4-run game. Utley had an RBI his first time up on a ground out. Outside, 2-0 the count. Now those are the first runs, the 3 the Phillies have scored today, that Smiley's given up this spring. His previous 9 innings, he had not allowed a run. He had walked just 1.
That's what I was saying earlier. It looks like he has an idea. Doesn't look like he overpower you with his fastball, but he's a little bit sneaky, especially with his delivery.
Inside, 3-0. And now Avila is going to go out to the mound.
He looks frustrated a little bit right now all of a sudden. You know, he was very confident getting outs, and now his body language isn't real good.
Well, mark your calendars now for the first Hatfield Dollars Dog Night at the ballpark. Tuesday, April 9th at 7:05 when the Phillies take on the Mets. Monday, the 22nd is the second one. You can get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. 3-0 the count to Utley. He figured Chase was taken all the way, and he takes a strike. It's 3-1.
Yeah, in a game situation, you're down by 4 runs, lefty to lefty. You're going to take. But down here, you never know. Marte, the right-hander, up.
Smiley at 53 pitches. He's probably in the same boat that Doc was. They're probably trying to get him around 70 pitches. Inside, ball 4, runners on first and second. And that'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate. And out to the mound. Or trip to the mound, I should say, for the Tigers. As the Phillies have a chance to add to their run total in this inning. They've already scored 3 runs. Or I should say 2 runs, and they have a chance to add more. Jeff Jones is the pitching coach for the Detroit Tigers. Their hitting coach is Lloyd McClendon. Toby Harris, their assistant hitting coach. You see Jones, who's out there. Now, from a roster standpoint, if you look at what the Tigers are anticipating for 2013, they have Verlander, they have Pfister, they have Sanchez, they have Scherzer. Those are the top 4. There's a battle going on between Porcello and Smiley right now. At least that's the assumption for the number 5 spot. You would think that, one would wind up down in the minor leagues, not in the bullpen. As Howard waves at the first pitch, it's 0-1.
Sometimes it comes down to service time, whether a guy's an option or not when you get to that point.
And last year, Porcello, 10 wins with a 4.59 ERA. Smiley mentioned he made 18 starts, an ERA under 4. So the top 4 guys you see there, they're set.
Well, they got some strikeouts in that rotation. Oof.
Fly ball left field. It's not deep. It's playable for Bosch. And there are 2 outs. And Michael Young's coming up. There is some thought that the Tigers, they could, if they're not satisfied with Rondon as their closer, or whomever else they decide to use, they could trade, let's say, a Porcello or somebody to try to get a closer if they don't sign a Valverde back or anybody else that's a free agent.
Think Valverde used it up there?
I don't know.
It's hard to say. He was so good, and then right at the very end, boom, he blew up. And he is volatile.
Michael Young grounded out to short his first time up. In the dirt, 1-0.
Sometimes you can get the yips as an organization when you see something like that happen about bringing a guy back.
I think one of the headlines I read about the Tigers that Richard Justice wrote the other day. Richard used to cover the Astros. Now he works for MLB.com. The headline was, someone will close for the Tigers. They just don't know who.
Yeah. Valverde's still out there?
He is still out there.
That's what I thought.
He is pitching in the World Baseball Classic.
Being your point that maybe they'd bring him back.
Well, there was another story that I read where Jim Leyland thought about having Dave Dombrowski bring him back as kind of an insurance policy in case Rondon didn't work out. Ground ball towards short again. And Peralta flips the short way to second to retire Utley. Phillies get a couple runs back, but they leave 2. So we're through our first 3. Already 10 runs scored as we go to the 4th. Applications right now for the 2013 Callis Award. We'll award a $1,500 college scholarship to a young lady or man who is involved in the broadcasting field, a rising junior or senior in one of the Philadelphia area colleges. All you have to do is go to phillybroadcasters.org for more information. The deadline for the application is April 30th, 2013. So check that out. And we will award the scholarship once the regular season rolls on in the month of May. And it's for the fall of the 2013 school year. We go to the fourth. It's 7-3 Tigers. A lot has happened since the game began, Sarge, in the first 3 innings of this ball game.
Yeah. Doc had a rough outing, not being able to really hit his spots. More importantly, though, trying to get in with the fastball. You can tell velocity is just not there right now.
Jeremy Horst got the last out in the third, and now he's ahead 1-2 to Brennan Bosch. Talking to Jeremy today, one of the things he said he's been trying to do, he said it's not just being able to get that downward plane that pitchers always talk about, driving themselves to the plate. He said it's about his hands, about his kick, getting all of it to work in synergy. He said he just didn't feel it was the first couple of outings. Now he feels like he's where he wants to be. Diving stop by Ryan Howard. Horst is there and one away. He thought he dropped the ball. That was a fine play by Ryan Howard.
Boy, no doubt about it. Really what made that play, not after catching it, he ended up leading him to the bag as opposed to throwing it right to him. Take a look here as he dives and catches the ball. Now, when he throws it, he leads him right toward the bag there, and he says, oh, I do have it in the glove. There it is. You got it. Good play. Here it is again. Important for that pitcher to get over there. See how he's able to keep running? He was led right to the bag.
Ryan Howard during his career, 92 errors. He didn't feel like he was moving the way he should be, obviously because of the Achilles last year, but he is moving a whole lot better over at first base this spring. We noticed that the first week of spring training on the backfields. 1-1 the count to Andy Dirks. He's 1 for 2. He drove in a run his first time up, then struck out in the second. Down the left field line. And Michael Young can't get to it. Well, he got to it. He just couldn't line it up.
Yeah, remember we talk about that, some of those balls where you're running down the line, much easier if you're using the one hand, especially if you're not directly in front of it. Take a look at him as he's on the side, tries to do that with two hands. A lot of times you're going to impede your division there. If you can use that one hand, I think you'd be a little bit better. No, you always try and get right where you can almost turn. That particular ball, though, wasn't high enough for him to get kind of behind it. We talk about it. Make sure you keep your mouth closed when you're running after those fly balls.
And Dirks has been hit by a pitch with one out here in the fourth.
But if you talk with Michael Young, he'd tell you, hey, I should have caught that ball. He is a perfectionist when it comes to playing the game.
Now, when he was in the Blue Jays system, while you were in the system, what position did you think he would play in the big leagues? Do you remember?
Well, he was at the time, he was playing shortstop. So I knew he was a pretty good fielder, and Orlando Hudson was playing second base, so he wasn't going to play there. I just knew he was going to be a good hitter and play in the major league somewhere. Oh, those kind of players, I mean, that come up, you see them instantly. You know they're going to play just from their mannerisms, the way that they hit the ball, and almost the way they carry themselves on a daily basis. Even at a young player, again, well, any of the young players, but especially Young, though, when he was coming up. No nonsense.
1 strike the count to Martinez. Do you remind the Blue Jays ever that you told them not to trade him?
I told them don't trade him in Orlando. The next day they were traded. So they don't, they have their scouts and their super scouts that like making those kind of decisions.
Well, they liked Esteban Loaiza. That's who he was traded for, from the Blue Jays to the Rangers.
Well, I'll still take Michael for me.
1-2 the count to Martinez. He's grounded it to a double play. The Phillies will take that again here. Down the right field line, out of play.
Most of these guys are pretty solid at the plate in terms of what they're actually looking for. Got to have a game plan each and every time you go up to the plate.
Popped him up. Foul territory. Kratz and Howard are over. Ryan has got it lined up. And there are 2 outs. So 2 away. It'll bring Alex Avila to the plate. All right, well, the Tigers are obviously an offensive-minded team. Is there everything? Was there anything you don't like about them offensively, if you think about it?
Well, no, I like the balance that they have for sure on their team. You have the Triple Crown winner and Mr. Cabrera, I should say, last year. And you got Prince Fielder. I mean, these guys can really hit, and they believe that they can hit. They're strong from top to bottom. Maybe could have a little more speed, but as far as in guys driving in runs, they have it.
Here's Avila who takes a strike. It's 0-1. I always think about at this point in the spring, where are the flaws of teams? Now, for the Tigers, they've added to their outfield. They've added Torrey Hunter to their outfield.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps out, too.
Well, and he's from that area over there. He's from Battle Creek, Michigan. And he'll have a lot of family members there. And he's getting almost toward the end. So to go back to Detroit for me and be able to play with his family, he's done a lot of things, been an all-star Gold Glover. He's going to fit on this club very well and give them a lot more energy, I think, because he wants to get to where he's playing in the postseason World Series.
Runner goes. Kratz throws from his knees and not in time. He had a lot on that throw. But Dirks is able to swipe the bag.
Yeah, I don't think so much. You can always blame that on Kratz when you see a stolen base. Pitchers just don't hold the guys on as close as they should. They get too big of a jump. That was just about a perfect throw, however.
And that is strike 3. Not on the call, but on the check swing. Had to wait to see what Mark Carlson was going to decide. He pointed to the batter. That's usually an indication that he did not check his swing against Jeremy Horst. when you buy right. Bottom of the fourth, Phillies down 7-3. And they'll sit Dominic Brown, John Mayberry, and Eric Kratz to the plate against left-hander Drew Smyly. Smiley's allowed 3 runs today. They're the first 3 runs he's allowed this spring. Looks like he is almost done for the day. Luis Marte continues to throw in the pen for the Tigers. Jake Diekman throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies.
Hey, this Drew, he's got a chance to be their 5th starter in their rotation. You're talking with Jim Price and Dan Dickerson, the broadcasters that are doing the games on radio for the Detroit Tigers.
Now, did they say anything to you about what they would do at Rick Porcello if Smyly was going to be?
Well, Porcello and him are supposed to be, right there. So, at this time, Leland hasn't made that decision. That they would like to have, obviously, a lefty there in that rotation.
It would make sense, and I also thought that maybe you could put Porcello in the bullpen, but Dave Dombrowski said, he kind of said yesterday, no, that the hope is that if they're not pitching in the big leagues, that they'll pitch in the minor leagues, eventually getting back to the big leagues.
Well, then that would tell you then that they want him or both of these guys to be able to start.
Here is Dave Dombrowski, the general manager of the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't able to actually sit in my regular booth.
You allowed him to sit in your booth?
Well, I told him, hey, take it over here today.
Well, that's going to be it for Drew Smyly. So his afternoon is complete after 3 1/3. Jim Leland makes his first pitching change of the day. We'll be back right after this. Drew Smyly threw 61 pitches today. Of those 61, 44 were strikes. He had a pretty good afternoon. He did allow 3 runs. As we said, it's the first 3 runs he's allowed this year. And he'll give way to Luis Marte, who's pitched in 6 games so far for the Tigers. A 1.42 earned run average. Marte was signed as a free agent by the Tigers out of the Dominican Republic in 2005. And he has spent parts of the last 2 years in the major leagues. He's thrown in 17 games and has had a pretty good earned run average. And his first pitch to John Mayberry, taken low. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
It'll be interesting to see what Doc is saying about his outing this day and exactly how he feels.
Third base line, foul territory. And Don Kelly makes the call. I agree with you, Sarge. And he is, we've always said this, Doc is always honest.
Yeah.
If he's not good, he'll tell you why. And if he's borderline, he'll tell you why he thought it was good, why he thought it was bad.
Well, obviously he was missing the location, but I'm sure that he's got to be a little bit concerned right now just because of the velocity, because when you're throwing harder, some of the balls that they were hitting first pitch, that's in on their hands. We've seen that before.
Kratz swings at the first pitch, and Chopper to short. So the Phillies are going to go down quietly here in the fourth inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils. Smiley and then Marte will take a 7-3 lead into the fifth inning when we come back. There's a number of opportunities for groups of 25 or more. You can receive special discounts and group recognition. Many options to take advantage of at Citizens Bank Park, including private suites and pregame party areas. Again, go to Phillies.com to check out all the details. It's a day of a variety of hats, Sarge, here at the ballpark.
Yeah, I was looking at those, and
I think somebody's celebrating a birthday. I think that's in honor of her birthday.
Oh.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
You're going out on a limb?
Yeah.
With candles? Okay.
Well, it's a
birthday
balloon.
Cake.
Yeah, but it's a balloon hat made out of. It's a birthday cake made of a balloon hat.
Yeah.
So I was, deducing that it was her birthday.
Going out on the limb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jake Diekman will take over for the Phils as we head to the fifth inning. Diekman in 5 games, 6 innings, 5 hits, 10 strikeouts. And he'll face Johnny Peralta, Don Kelly, Ramon Santiago. Those are the scheduled hitters for the Tigers. So Jeremy Horst, an inning in the third, scoreless in relief of Doc. Doc allowed 7 runs in 2 2/3. Peralta's 0 for 2. And he swings at the first pitch. I was asking Eric Kratz today about, the lefties that are scheduled to go today. Horst, Diekman, and Raul Valdez. And I said, what do you like about Jake Diekman? What do you think he needs to do in order to be effective on the major league level? And he had a big smile on his face. And he said, it's simple. He said, it's just throwing strikes.
Yep. Yeah, easier said than done. He's got a good arm. He showed that he has a good breaking ball, Diekman. And again, for me, I think it's more so the confidence. Once you get the confidence and you have a good arm the way that he does, everything else just falls into line.
Line drive, base hit to center field. Kind of like he may have broken his bat. A leadoff single. That'll bring Don Kelly to the plate. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, T-Mac, a pretty good time to get you caught up the news and notes from around Major League Baseball, and a lot going on. First of all, former Major Leaguer Manny Ramirez is back in the news. He is taking his talents to Taiwan. He'll play in a pro league over there for $25,000 a month. And back in the States, Dodgers pitcher Zach Greinke is on the shelf. He has some inflammation in his throwing elbow. He's just going to rest for a little bit. They don't think it's anything serious. And in the World Baseball Classic, of course, tonight, round 2 is getting underway. Actually, underway right now. The U.S. will take on Puerto Rico tonight. So, and I understand the Dominican Republic down 4-1 right now.
Surprising.
Yeah.
It's surprising, Murph, because Dominican Republic has been an offensive machine so far in the World Baseball Classic. Don Kelly is the batter. The count is 0-1. Now, are you having a conversation with Ben Revere while you're out there?
Well, you know, I was just getting ready to do my hit, and Ben turned around and said, hey, make sure you give me a shout-out. So I want to make sure that everyone knows Ben Revere, number 2, playing center field.
It's a good thing you said it, because I don't think anybody would know.
He likes playing the game. He's having fun.
He does.
It's great.
0-2 the count. How about that young lady with the balloon birthday hat out there? Have you talked to her?
I have. It's her birthday today. That's Colleen over there. She took her hat off. But
well, it's a little windier now than it was a few minutes ago.
There she goes. She's putting it back on. Celebrating number 30 today out here on the berm. So congratulations and happy birthday to Colleen.
Michael Young in foul territory. And there's one away. There she is, Colleen. Happy birthday.
Second baseman,
Ramon Santiago will be the batter. Santiago has singled. He's also hit a grand slam, and here's that slam.
Yeah, very first pitch. That ball was down and in. I don't know if Doc was trying to cut it in there on his hands, but didn't get it in there far enough.
Santiago, switch hitter, now batting right-handed. Well, Diekman has worked ahead of the first 3 hitters. I guess that's what we were talking about before, is throw strikes, and you can be effective. And that's the case for any major league pitcher.
Yeah, the one bad pitch, however, you get 2 strikes on a hitter, so try and make them chase. Don't have to actually throw them a strike. Peralta ended up getting a hit when it was 0-2.
What Eric Kratz was saying today, and I agreed with this too, is that when he was with Diekman in the minor leagues, Diekman was doing what you said, Sarge, pitching with a world of confidence. So he was difficult to pick up, just like right there. He fooled Santiago. And there are 2 outs.
Appeared to be a little slide piece. Good pitch, however.
Yeah, and that confidence at times carried over to his big league appearances, but it wasn't as consistent.
Well, nobody's going to want to hit against him, especially from the left side. Good slider or cutter, cutting in on the hitter's hands.
Now Brian Pena, the hitter. 1 ball and no strikes, the count to Pena.
No, one of the reasons that you almost have to guess at some of the pitches is simple, that you're not able to see the velocity. You know, if you're able to see the velocity, you'd know exactly whether or not it's a slider or whether or not it's a cutter. When you don't have the velocity, you're just going on mostly the movement that you see from a pitcher. That's why you're able to decide on whether or not it is a slider, cutter, changeup, etc. Credit, however, he is coming right at the hitters, and that's what you want to see your relievers do. You don't want to see them come in the game and start walking a lot of the hitters. Their job is to come in and keep the situation exactly where it is, throw strikes, get the hitters out.
A little low, 3-1 the count. Mentioned that Raul Valdez is scheduled to pitch today for the Phillies too, and then Justin Friend is one of the backups today. We probably will see him at some point. Boy, that ball is crushed. You can forget about it. It's going to be long gone. A 2-run home run for Brian Pena. Third home run of the day for the Tigers. It's now a 9-3 game.
I can guarantee you 3-1. He's looking fastball all the way. That's what major league players do. Get him a fastball right there in the zone. I got to tell you, it's got to be middle in, and it is coming in. You can see how he poses. He knows it's gone when that ball comes off the bat. He just takes a little slight look at it. It was back there by plenty, by the way.
Back to the top of the order for Quentin Berry. Fights it off. It'll go foul. Well, Brian Pena, his 5th hit of the spring. He's 5 for 20 now. Pretty good chance he's the backup catcher for the Tigers behind Alex Avila.
Well, you hit him in that spot there and you get good wood, there's just no doubt about where it's going. You know, those are the situations with a, for me, right-handed hitter, especially a power guy. That's where he wants to be able to have enough confidence to come in with, you know, something all speed maybe, or even something slider or whatever, not necessarily, you know, a pitch that a hitter is actually sitting on. And I can guarantee you that 3-1, these guys are sitting on that fastball.
Is there a point where you're okay with maybe walking him because you have a guy like Quentin Berry coming up next, to left-hander?
Well, they want to. You don't want to just walk, but yeah, I mean, having another left-hander come up behind you, you just don't want to groove a particular pitch.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just knowing who's behind you and maybe thinking, all right, if I don't get him with this pitch, I'm going to throw my pitch. If I don't get him with my pitch, I've got a lefty coming up next.
Exactly. So therefore, you may be going for the corners as opposed to throwing a strike and just saying, well, I don't want to walk him. Good pitch.
3 balls, 2 strikes the count with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Tigers up 9-3. They've hit 3 home runs. Brennan Bosch waits on deck. Another left-handed hitter.
I still don't think, however, it is clear cut right now for any of those lefties. They are battling and may go down to the last few days. Good pitch.
It sure is. He gets Berry on strikes. However, the damage is done again for the Tigers. A little long ball. This one from Brian Pena, the 3rd homer of the day for Detroit. And it extends its lead to 9-3. Or inside information. Sign up today for the CSNPhilly.com Phillies newsletter. On to the bottom of the fifth we go. Phillies have some catching up to do. They're down 9-3. Tigers with 9 runs on 8 base hits. Drew Smyly started for the Tigers. He went 3 1/3, allowed 5 hits and 3 runs. 2 of those runs were earned. One of the runs unearned. Now Luis Marte, who got the final 2 outs in the 4th. We'll begin the 5th inning. Joaquin Benoit is warming in the bullpen for the Tigers. There's Benoit. And now Yuniesky Betancourt will hit for the Phillies. Betancourt singled and scored in the 3rd. Mentioned there will come a point in the next couple of weeks where the Phillies have to make a decision on whether they're going to keep Yuniesky Betancourt. He can become a free agent before spring training comes to a close.
I would think that someone would want to pick him up. He looks to be in tremendous shape.
A little low with the first pitch. It's 1-0.
He play all the positions, has a good arm. I mean, for the utility spot here, too. I mean, obviously, I think Franson would be a guy that would almost be an automatic.
Right, but the way Galvis has played, and Freddie has played very well.
Between Galvis, again, and Betancourt for me, and it just depends on, and Charlie had said he felt that, Galvis could probably get enough at-bats in the major leagues. That remains to be seen. Charlie usually plays a set lineup.
Fly ball right center field. Berry on the run. It's carrying out there, and did he make the catch? He did. That was an outstanding grab by Quentin Berry. Well, the way he left his feet, I wasn't sure if he pulled it in.
Right at the last minute, showing some athleticism as he goes to get the ball. Take a look at him as he just goes up, leaps, and catches it right at the highest point. Oh, boy. See, that's why, too, Tom, that's why you call it the show deal. Once he jumps up and he catches the ball like that, he's going to give you a little showman act right there as he backs up. They call that the moonwalk if you have regular shoes.
So if you have spikes on, what do they call it?
You can't do it. You can't moonwalk with that.
They call it the moonwalk with regular shoes.
That's right. Michael Jackson made that famous. I'm surprised you haven't heard of that. You want to start talking to the kids more, okay?
The kids?
Yeah,
if
Tommy,
Michael Jackson made it famous, I better start talking to the adults.
Let me tell you something. The kids would know that. If I talk to Tommy and Patrick, they know exactly what the moonwalk would be.
Oh,
Trust
boy.
me on that.
I knew what it was. I just didn't know that was it.
Yeah, well, you can't do it with spikes. Okay?
Oh, man.
It's a backwards move. Okay? Boy, Tom, I'm going to have to start spending a little more time with you.
So essentially, let me get this correct. So essentially, that was the moonwalk, but if it was only the moonwalk if he was wearing sneakers.
Yeah, because then you could kind of slide back. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Just,
those aren't sneakers.
I wish I could kind of demonstrate.
Go ahead. Camera's there. Come on.
No, I can't do it because I don't have really the right shoes on. But, and I need a floor that would be a little bit more just where you could glide.
Yeah, that's all you need. Revere has his 3rd hit of the day.
Well, I know J-Ro's playing pretty good there with the Nationals. This guy here seems to be just a classic leadoff hitter. There it is, Tom. We're going to show it to you again.
Right. That's not a moonwalk.
If he didn't have his spikes on, and I tried to clarify that, it would be the moonwalk.
Okay. Let me write that down.
You can't slide when you have spikes on. Again, this is why we call it the show. Stay with me, Tom.
I'm really confused.
Don't be.
Here's Kevin Franzen with a runner at first. Franzen lays down a bunt. Third base side. And he gets him at first. Franzen just not running all that well. And Ben Revere goes up to second.
Well, I tell you, I don't like that play unless he's going right for the lines. He's, for me, too good of a hitter. When you're down like that, unless you're going right for the line where you know you're going to get a base hit, and then you have your 3-4 guys coming up, okay. other than that, you know, he's a guy for me that can hit the gaps from the doubles. Well, you got him in scoring position, that's good, but when you're down by 6 runs, you might as well go on and swing the bat. You agree with that?
I do agree with you on that one. I'm still laughing about the moonwalk and the fact that Murph from the Peanut Gallery chimed in and said, well, Quentin Berry is wearing just one glove.
Oh, boy, I tell you, he fits in with this group real well. Just let me say that. Oh, boy.
Oh, and won the count to Utley. Utley with an RBI his first time up. Walked in the third. That ball is hit well deep to right field, and it's not coming back. A 2-run missile off the bat of Chase Utley. And the Phillies back within 4. It's now a 9-5 game.
Wow. Man, that is good to see.
First home run of the spring for Chase.
Boy, I tell you what, that's been a long time coming. It's going to make, obviously, Charlie feel good. More importantly, Steve Henderson, the hitting coach, was kind of wondering where the power has gone. Well, there it is. He gets that line drive. There's that familiar stroke. Short and quick to the ball. There it is. What a great shot. Look at his heads. And I mean, boy, head right down on the ball. Boy, if he's going to start doing some of that, get ready. Never smiles when he hits a home run.
You got to get him on the right day. They're still down by 4, though. That's the part.
Even if they had hit it to go ahead, he still wouldn't smile.
0-2 the count to Howard. He is grounded out. He's also flied out to left. Phillies down 9-5. Now the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Chase now with 3 runs batted in today. Got the RBI in the first. Now 2 more with the home run.
Well, that one in the first, they were actually going on contact, had the right guy at third base, Ben Revere. You can pick up some easy ribbies. Let's get the ball up a little bit for Ryan Howard. Looks like a fastball away.
Line drive to right center field, and that's going to be through the gap and off the wall. Howard on his way to second. The throw is not in time on a great slide by Ryan Howard. That was all about the slide, because the throw, I said not in time. The throw was really there in time, but the slide enabled Howard to avoid the tag.
Yeah, kind of slid around him as he finally got a fastball to his liking as he smacked it right into right center. Then he catches this ball here. He knows he's got to go as he kind of disappears there, the big fella.
Wow, that was a
slide
great
right there. Boy, you tell you what, you got to be a little athlete to be able to do that. He slides around and... Whew. What do you think, Tom? Sliding there on the stomach like that?
Thought it was a great slide.
I think for me, too, though, you'll see him do a lot of that because he just doesn't feel comfortable sliding on his side. I haven't seen him do that at all as of late. He's usually going head first.
Because he doesn't want to jam that Achilles?
Well, I don't know whether or not it's that or if he feels comfortable in sliding.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Michael Young with Howard at second. Phillies down 9-5. They now have 8 base hits today.
These are big spots for Michael Young during the course of his career. He's always been a good 2-out hitter. Guy known to get clutch hits, driving in runs. Done that throughout his career. Well, hasn't been hitting the ball the way he's capable, although he has been working the count. And that's how you actually start to get around, to hit the ball the way that you should. See that what he's done there with 2 outs. Don't think you're going to see the power, however, that he usually had throughout his career, but he's still a good hitter.
Well, he's down on strikes on a pitch that he thought was high. And the side is retired. The Phillies get 2 back, though, thanks to a 2-run home run by Chase Utley, his first of the spring. He has a 3 RBI day. It's 9-5. The Phillies down 4. April 7th, will the Phillies wrap up their first series of the 2013 home schedule against the Kansas City Royals. All fans 14 and under will receive the Ryan Howard wiffle ball set, compliments of IBEW Local 98. They can make plans now. Order your tickets at Phillies.com. Ben Revere's day is done, signing some autographs as he works his way up the left field line here at Bright House Field. There's that wiffle ball bat that we're talking about, and the ball. Whoop. Murph, he misread it initially. The sun bothered him, and then he was able to settle under it.
See, that's the way you pitch the ball. Ball, okay?
Here's Cesar Hernandez. That's the way you pitch the ball, folks. Cesar Hernandez is now the second baseman for the Phillies. New right fielder is Ender Inciarte, and because he's in right, John Mayberry moves to center. So Mayberry takes over for Ben Revere. There's Inciarte. And as we begin the top of the 6th, Brennan Bosch leads it off for the Tigers. Bosch 0 for 2 against Jake Diekman, who allowed a couple runs in the 5th inning. Bosch walked back in the 2nd, but he struck out his first time up, grounded out his last time up. And he lines that one for a base hit into right field. Inciarte unable to cut it off, and it dies under the wall. A leadoff double.
Tell you what, these guys have proven that they can hit a fastball left side, right side. All in your game plan, your setup. This is about the time in spring training, and hitters are just about ready to go.
Raul Valdez warming in the bullpen for the Phillies. Andy Dirks is 1 for 2. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. And a breaking pitch, and it's no balls and 1 strike. And Revere is still finishing up some autographs. As we've talked about, he has become a very likable individual for the Phillies fans to embrace. 0-2 pitch coming to Dirks.
When you start hitting the ball the way that he's been hitting the ball, it's easy to like a player. Well, the more you see him, the more you're really liking him over at the top of that lineup. So he's going to have an interesting decision between him and Jimmy Rollins as to who will lead off the majority of the time.
Ryan Howard over at first base. Crosses over into foul territory. Makes the catch. First out.
Good pitch. Took a little something off of that breaking ball.
First baseman Victor Martinez.
Hey, you wonder if they bat Ben Revere down in the lineup. Let's say 8th. Let's just say they bat him 8th for argument's sake. Then you're not utilizing the speed that he has.
Oh, gosh, I would hope that they don't put him 8th. You know, I mean, the way that he has been hitting right now, it would show you that this kid can hit in the top of the lineup. At least he has been.
So you're thinking first or second?
Oh, boy, yeah.
You would want first.
Oh, I would want first at this point after just seeing what we've seen and having J-Ro probably hit a second.
Martinez fouls it away.
2 things there. I mean, once Ben is on and J-Ro hitting second, for me, that means J-Ro will get more fastballs. He's more of a fastball type of hitter. And even if J-Ro's popping it up or whatever, you still have a guy that can steal a base.
I guess I hadn't thought about that, switching them, you know, putting Revere at leadoff and then Rollins at second. I thought if Revere would lead off, you'd have Jimmy 3rd or even 5th or even 6th. Well, that's an interesting thought.
Well, with the speed there, you don't have to just necessarily, you know, give up or have a bunt or sacrifice. You know, you have a guy, again, that can hit the fastball in J-Ro. Ben can steal a base. You can't continually throw Jimmy Rollins off-speed pitches. Other than that, Ben will be able to walk down to second. And not only that, this guy can score on a ball that's in the gap.
0-2 the count to Martinez with a runner at second base and 1 man down here in the 6th inning. And a called strike 3. 3rd strikeout for Deacon.
Catcher Alex O'Neill.
Well, take a look at this one as he held him on the mound and again took a little something off. Kind of fooled the hitter. Good location on the outside part of the plate. The pitchers just want to keep the ball from being in the middle of the plate. Want to work the corners, whether or not it's in or out.
Here's Alex Avila. He has singled. He's also doubled. He struck out back in the 4th inning. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
thrown a lot of strikes around the plate. Only one mistake so far. It's a 3-1 cripple pitch, which was a home run.
Avila checked his swing. Didn't matter, though. Mark Carlson called it a strike. So now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Diekman has already pitched 1 inning. Sarge said he allowed the 2-run home run. That was to Brian Pena. Now he's trying to work around a leadoff double here in the 6th inning. Keep this at a 9-5 game.
Yeah, Pena, one of those little stocky hitters. Not going to miss that fastball very much. See what he gives him here. Usually, again, when you throw that 2-2 breaking ball, you would hope you have the confidence to throw it 3-2. We'll see whether or not he'll end up throwing a fastball here as opposed to that.
He does throw a fastball. It's hit to deep left center field. Mayberry on the run, and it's off the top of the wall. Another run scores. Avila pulls into second, an RBI double. It's been a pattern for the Phillies offensively. They've been getting runs and they've been getting back into games, but each time they do, at least late in ball games, they can't quiet the other team's offense.
Well, another cripple pitch. See where the location is, and that one inside. Maybe you give him a little credit though for hitting that pitch there. Avila, he smacks that right off the wall. But usually though, for a hitter, when you miss and you miss badly with a breaking ball that's 2-2, they'll sit on your fastball and almost make you throw it. You know, you're not feeling comfortable as a pitcher to throw it again, especially if it's not a close pitch. And most guys in the major leagues can hit a fastball.
Well, now Johnny Peralta, who's 1 for 3. Check swing. And Diekman off the mound. He makes the play. Took a little extra time, and Peralta almost made him pay. But a run scores on the RBI from Alex Avila. Tigers' lead is now 5. It's a 10-5 ball game. You buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. And by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. Tigers on top 10-5. They scored 7 runs in 2 2/3 against Doc. And now they've added 3 runs against Jake Diekman. In 2 innings of work for Jake. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Joaquin Benoit will take over for the Tigers. And some changes for the Tigers defensively. Don Kelly moves from third base over to first base. And the new third baseman is Danny Worth. So Worth will take over. On the other side of the diamond, new shortstop is Argenis Diaz. Diaz will take over for John. John Mayberry Jr. is the batter. Mayberry singled his first time up. He's popped out. He popped out in his second at bat at the foul territory. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Mayberry started the day in right field. Lance Nix has gotten more time in right field and started to hit the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis for the Phillies. 1-1 the count to Mayberry.
He's got to get off his heels, back it up on a fastball. Inside, should be attacking that pitch. No, but Lance can hit. I mean, you can just. This guy has a lot of confidence against any right-handed pitcher. Doesn't bail when he's up at the plate, meaning pulling off pitches, and you got a battle on your hands when he's there.
Al Albuquerque in the bullpen for the Tigers. He's another piece of their pen, and should be once the regular season rolls around. I think Benoit thought that got part of the plate.
Yeah, 3-1 slider. Shook off to that. Catcher had called for a fastball. See whether or not he gets his fastball right now. And as a hitter, what you're thinking, you want it in the zone, just don't be late.
Up high, ball 4. So the Phillies have a base runner with 1 out here in the 6th. And Eric Kratz, who's hit this in 2 at-bats. Will get a chance to bat for Charlie Manuel's team. We showed the numbers at the beginning of the telecast, Sarge, the Phillies' numbers for the spring. ERA was high. Runs per game was good, 5.8, 5.9. Team batting average was okay. What do you think that Charlie's been happy about? What do you think that he hasn't been happy about this spring?
I think he's been happy. He's talked about that, about just the guys being healthy is the most important thing. Talk about the big piece, Ryan Howard, and being consistent and hitting the ball hard. He likes his coaches, the way that they've been very enthusiastic about what's going on.
Recognize the fact that the players are the players, so there has to be adjustments individually, defensively, in order for them to be successful.
Right, and the way you can get to that point, I mean, you have to anticipate the ball coming to you just about every single time there's a hitter out there, and especially in the outfield for the guys that are there.
Ground ball towards shortstop. That should be 2. There's 1. And the Phillies go down quietly here in the 6th inning. 6-4-3 double play. We've completed 6. Sarge, you're done for the day. Go work on your moonwalk. We'll be back for the 7th right after this. For the Phillies. So LaRue is in the game for Raul Valdez. We said there'll be a lot of lefties today for the Phillies. Valdez is the 3rd behind Roy Halladay. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike now to Don Kelly, up for the 4th time. He's homered. He's been hit by a pitch. He's also popped out to third. Valdez, 11 strikeouts at 7 1/3. That one's off the end of the bat. It's going to flare into right field, a base hit. So Kelly has his 2nd hit of the day, and that is the 11th hit for the Tigers. And now Ramon Santiago will be the batter. Mentioned on the backfields today, Jonathan Papelbon, Mike Adams, a couple of the guys that threw. Because the off day yesterday, guys are kind of backed up on what days they're supposed to throw. Santiago lifts it to left. Mitchell started back. Now he comes running in. Not too many guys who are as fast as Jermaine Mitchell. That was an easy recovery for him.
I've seen him get a couple triples this spring. He can really run.
So what away? Brian Pena is the hitter. In reality, the left-handers that the Phillies are looking at for the pen, Bastardo pretty much has a spot, I would think. I don't know if I'm off base on that, Wheels, or not. The other 3, Diekman, Valdez, and Horst, they're kind of battling for a spot of some sorts. Not because they're lefties, just because they're trying to find the best pitchers available.
Right, the best pitchers available. And Bastardo would have to pitch himself right off the team to not make the club, because he's done it in the major leagues, and he's seen enough down here that's been positive. Even though spring training, you're going to have your good and bad outings, just like a long season. Nothing to indicate that he doesn't have good stuff. He can't pitch in the major leagues and get hitters out.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Pena with a runner at first.
Other guys are a little bit hit and miss right now. You just don't know.
Yeah, Horst has had 2 good outings in a row. He had an inning in the 3rd scoreless today. He did hit 1 batter. He was really good his last time out in Kissimmee against the Astros. I even thought he was good the last time he pitched here at Bright House Field. 1-2 the count. We talk so much about good and bad. I think it depends on the player, how much they weigh good compared to bad.
Well, a lot of it has to do, in my opinion, what I said about Bastardo. What kind of track record do they have? Because so much of this down here is eyewash. Getting ready, whether what you're doing on a certain day and all. If a guy has a history and he's healthy, then you're going to give him a little more rope, even if things don't go right. If a guy doesn't have a history, if he's trying to prove himself, then you don't know what you're watching sometimes.
There's a strikeout for Valdez. Darren Ruff, now he had a history in the minor leagues. He's being given an opportunity to open eyes here in big league camp, and he has struggled so far.
Right. And that you just made a great point. He has a history in the minor leagues, and it's totally different than when you have stuff on the back of that card that is showing that you have had success in the major leagues. So you're going to look at guy. We laugh about it all the time. Wasn't funny to him, but that year John Kruk had no hits in spring training, 0. Did anybody worry about it? No. But if some poor guy's trying to make the club like Darren Ruff and he's struggling offensively, then they have a tendency to press a little bit, and you're not impressing anybody.
Ground ball right side. Hernandez to his left. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Rather impressive 7th inning for Raul Valdez. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch here at Bright House Field. Seventh inning, they're rolling out the barrel here, Wheels, as the seventh inning stretch has taken place. You know, I read the other day that at Wrigley Field they're not going to do Take Me Out to the Ball Game anymore.
Correct. They feel that they've had too many shaky renditions and it's run its course.
But don't you think that's all part of it?
I think it's gotten a little old, to be honest.
You have?
Yeah, I really do.
All right, this is the chicken dance. It's not roll out the barrel.
That's Larry Anderson. I was doing a simulation of what Larry Anderson. I have no idea what the chicken dance is, but I've seen him do that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he's good. He's a good dancer.
Yeah. Roll out the barrel is more Milwaukee.
It did have a little roll out the barrel sort of tendencies to it.
Had a little pa, a little polka sound to it.
Well, I'm disappointed at the lack of Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Really?
Not that I really watch it much, but except for when we're there. I want to see Sarge sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Well, in that case, yeah. But
he may do it anyway.
They have had some flat-out disasters with that.
Al Albuquerque takes over for the Tigers here in the bottom of the seventh against Yuneski Betancourt. And then Ender Inciarte.
It was one thing when Harry did it. Harry Carey had such a great shtick with that, and when we lost him, then they decided they would continue it. But Harry Callis did a great job when he would get a chance to sing.
As you would expect.
Yeah. Well, he liked to sing.
He wanted the piano around, too.
It wasn't his time of the day to sing necessarily.
Ground ball toward the middle to his left. It's Diaz, one away. And now back to the top of the order. Ender Inciarte will bat for the first time today. Ben Revere held down the leadoff spot for most of this afternoon. Scored 3 runs, had 3 hits.
One of the greatest nights I ever had in Chicago was the night we ran into Harry Carey, not in his place, but in another place. Harry Callis and I did, and those two were singing. It was great. And it was. I wish there had been video. You know, when you had a cell phone with video, I might have taken that because that was memorable.
It would have been great if his place was open, because you could have went out, gone somewhere else, and then gone to his place.
Well, Harry Carey's place used to sit in the same table in the back and play the role of Harry Carey very well. He used to love to socialize in his own restaurant.
0-1 the count to Inciarte. 0-2 the count.
You get there first day of me in town. Can I make a reservation for you? You want to come in? Yeah, it'd be great. And he would. What a great guy he was. And so good for baseball.
He fought that off. It's going to spin out towards shortstop for the second out.
The second baseman, number 74, Cesar Hernandez.
Cesar Hernandez will be the hitter now. Buchanan is now warming in the pen for the Tigers, right-hander. Hernandez, one of the Phillies' middle infield prospects, and he's a good one. Not a big kid, but every level he's been at least recently, he has hit for the Phillies.
Play some second base, too.
He sure can.
He has good infielder instincts. Good to watch, see if he develops.
He is out of Venezuela. It's kind of been neat watching Hernandez and Freddie Galvis both kind of come up the system, through the system together. He's 3 for 12 so far in spring training, but we've watched him pick it a little bit over at second base. Last year in Reading, he had 304. And then in Lehigh Valley, he hit 248. Minor league numbers, he's a 290 hitter, and he dumps that one to center field for a base hit.
Albuquerque's got pretty good stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Ball is really good, really runs. Well, Benoit, Valverde, all these guys had really contributed to their bullpen last year.
Well, that's the thing. They don't have a bona fide closer, a guy that is, you know, a marquee closer, but they certainly have other pieces. Albuquerque 2 years ago in 41 games for the Tigers was 6-1 with an ERA of 1.87. Last year he only pitched in 8 games. And had an earned run average of 0.68. 8 games in the major leagues.
Yeah, he was a postseason. I'm trying to remember if I saw him in postseason. Anyway, just like the way his stuff moves.
just broke Utley's bat, and that's another spinner out towards second. Phillies are retired here in the 7th inning. No runs. 1 hit, 1 man left. 7 in the books here in Clearwater. The Tigers offense with a 5-run lead over the Phils. By Toyota. Let's go places. And by Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Philadelphia Phillies. On to the 8th inning we go. Yep, the Fanatics in town. Brought some kids up to the dugout, decided to do a little dancing. That's Nix. Heads over to first base, takes over there for Ryan Howard as we start the 8th inning. Raul Valdez still in the game, throws a strike. And it's 0-1 to Brendan Bosch. Bosch is 1 for 3 today. He walked back in the 2nd. Struck out, grounded out, doubled and scored. Roy Halladay started, went first 2 2/3, 7 runs and 6 hits. Walked 4, struck out 2. And Jeremy Horst scoreless inning in the 3rd. Jake Diekman allowed 3 runs in 2 innings. And now it's Valdez who pitched a scoreless 7th and starts the 8th with a strikeout.
Raul Valdez can really spot his pitches when he's on. That, you know, you're left-handed hitter. You have 2 strikes. That's when you throw an emergency swing on it at best and hope you can foul it off and live for another pitch.
I think it's coming in. You're hoping it's just going to tail outside, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, and then it cuts away from you because you're not going to hit that.
There's Coburnis against Valdez. 1 ball, no strikes. To right field, Inciarte is there. And Coburnis, who was a Rule 5 pick out of the Nationals organization by the Tigers, is retired for the 2nd out. Monday, April 8th, the Phillies begin a 3-game series against the New York Mets. On that first ball game, fans 15 and over will receive the McDonald's opening week T-shirt. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Check out the promotion schedule for the upcoming season. Check out all the Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights. There's one on Tuesday against the Mets during that series. Danny Worth up for the first time. And Valdez delivers high, 1-0. Boy, that's a good fastball. He was way late on it. Yeah, it's 2-2.
And he doesn't throw that hard, so every time you see a hitter do that, it just means they don't pick him up. And he is a little bit funky. He has really good off-speed stuff, change-up, breaking ball. But his ball must really be sneaky sometimes because he gets a lot of strikeouts. That's fouled in the dugout over there, and he gets a lot of strikeouts. And he doesn't. You watch him, Tom. You don't think he's a swing and a miss guy, but guys swing and miss at him.
Well, he's back even. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Danny Worth. Just got a piece of it to stay alive. It remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tomorrow the Phillies will head to Tampa to take on the Yankees. It's one of just a few night games that they'll play this year. And then they're back home again on Thursday here at Bright House Field. Fly ball, shallow right field. Inciarte wanders in. And Raul Valdez with a 1-2-3 8th inning. So nothing given up by Valdez except for the leadoff single back in the 7th. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Need to know on Sports Night. Every night at 6 and 10 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Nice crowd here today. Another sellout at Bright House Field. It's nice to see. The sun has popped up. A little blue skies up above after the rain this morning here in the Clearwater area. Some changes for the Tigers. Brad Davis will take over behind the plate for Alex Avila. And the new pitcher is right-hander Luke Petkonen for the Tigers. 5 games, an earned run average of 7.04. Former North Carolina Tar Heel Wheels. 3rd round pick in the 2007 draft by the Tigers.
They had Miller. He was the #1 pick out of North Carolina, who has moved on since then to other teams. He looked like he was really going to be a good pitcher.
He's with the Red Sox now. Lance Nix leads it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Marlins for a while.
Drew Smiley started the ball game for the Tigers and went 3 1/3, allowed 3 runs, 2 earned. Ooh. The ball zipped way inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Left-hander Darren Downs in the bullpen for the Tigers. And Nix hits one back toward the middle of base hit. Lance Nix has really started to swing the bat well over the last week or so.
He can hit some fastballs. And that did a good job. That ball got in on him a little bit too. It looked like he fought it off.
Third baseman, Michael Young.
He's aboard to start the home eighth.
That thing on replay. It looked like it may have been a cutter or a slider.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
It did look like it moved.
Because it got on the end of the bat is what it was. That's why it looked like it was, that he didn't center it.
Michael Young takes one off the glove of Davis. Nix does not advance. 1 ball and no strikes. Young with 3 at-bats so far. This is his 4th at-bat. He's grounded out twice, once into a fielder's choice, went down looking. Dominic Brown signing some autographs. Boy, he has spent a lot of time this spring signing autographs, taking photos, chatting with fans. Well, talk about a personable kid.
Yeah, he's a people person.
The first time I think I've seen him play a game this spring where he hasn't gotten a hit. Three and 1 the count to Michael Young. He was taking all the way. Phillies now with 10 base hits after that hit by Lance Nix. Over to second base, that might be 2. And it will be, even though the second baseman, Santiago, had trouble getting the ball out of his glove. 4-6-3 double play, and there are 2 outs now in the 8th inning. And Jermaine Mitchell's up for the first time. Mitchell is 0 for 3. Here we go.
And as you said, a little bit of getting out of his glove, but the shortstop cleared that bag quickly.
Sure did. Was he even on the bag?
I was going to say it was surprising that he was able to get away from the runner, Nix, that quickly with that flip. But it may have been because he was in right field when he threw it. That replay really showed the way he got away from the runner. Yeah, Nix had no chance to get him.
Spring training for bag covering too.
Hey, he may have been in contact with the bag and we didn't notice it. But man, he got out of the way in a hurry.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Jermaine Mitchell. 1-2 the count. Little looper out to left field. That'll be a base hit for Mitchell. He's thinking about 2. Oh, he's going for 2. Little hesitation, and Mitchell slides in safely. Cobertus, I don't think he realized the speed of Jermaine Mitchell, but he thought double right out of the box. So a 2-out base hit for the Phillies. They've got a runner in scoring position.
Here's a look at it. Just flares it out here into left field. When you can run like this guy, these can be doubles. Now, of course, you better be safe when you're down by 5 runs with 2 outs. And now all of a sudden, ooh, he's running. Why is he running down there?
Well, Cobertus is a second baseman by trade. Look at how fast Mitchell is. Look at him. Boom.
Just a slight hesitation to see what was going on out there. And gone.
Here's John Mayberry. Anyway, Cobertus is a second baseman by trade. The Tigers picked him up in the Rule 5 draft from the Nationals, where he was a second baseman. They would like him to be the right-handed platoon in left field. He's never played the outfield before. So he's going to be learning on the fly. Down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mayberry will be followed by Stephen LaRue. Phillies down 10-5 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They count 2 balls and 1 strike. Don Kelly's over at first. And the Phillies leave one in scoring position. We've played 8 here in Clearwater. When we come back, Greg Murphy will update us on what Roy Halladay said, so stay with us. We'll be back after this. Monday, April 8th at 7:05, the Phillies begin a 3-game series against the New York Mets, and all fans 15 and over will receive that great T-shirt. Compliments of the folks from McDonald's. It's the opening week T-shirt. Make your plans now. Order your tickets at Phillies.com. Well, the Tiger fans have certainly enjoyed the entire atmosphere today. They lead at 10-5 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Brad Davis will lead it off for Detroit. Pete Orr, fresh off the World Baseball Classic, is in at third base for the Phillies. Michael Young signing autographs down the left field line. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. This is the 3rd inning of relief for Raul Valdez.
Look at those hit totals at 11, but they've scored 8 runs on 3 hits, 3 homers, slam, and 2 2-runners.
By the bottom of the order, too.
Yep.
7, 8, 9. Two and 1 the count. Brad Davis was in the big leagues back in 2010. Wheels with who? Remember?
San Diego?
The Florida Marlins.
Oh, yeah.
Remember they had all those catching problems back in 2010?
I just thought I'd throw something out there because I had no idea.
And a breaking ball and a called strike 3. 3rd strikeout for Valdez. And with that, we'll send it over to Greg Murphy for a report on Doc. Greg?
All right, guys. Well, yeah, just got finished listening to what Doc Halladay had to say about his start. And he said, you know what? He felt great warming up, but he used the word lethargic. Once he got out there and threw, he said about 40 pitches, he started really feeling lethargic. And he said he thinks it's just that time of the spring where you're kind of going all the time. He said he threw 2 different bullpen sessions this week. And it just, he thinks, caught up with him. He said the good news is absolutely is nothing sore, nothing hurts. And he said he'll trade that anytime, for a little lethargic feeling out there on the mound. So he said he's not happy with the way his cutter is performing right now, so he's got to work on that. But other than that, he's not worried about the results. He said, things are getting better, they're improving, and that's all he cares about right now. So, after watching him pitch today, maybe a little bit of concern, but after listening to him talk, not so much.
I think what we've always said about Doc, and this is true, is that he's always been honest in his assessments of how he feels and the way he throws. Now, last year, everybody thought it was his shoulder that was barking most of the year. As it turns out, it was his mid-back that was really leading to him struggling, getting the ball to the plate and stuff like that. But that's a good sign that he feels that it's just the middle of the spring, sort of lethargy that he had to deal with today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, just by, when just listening to him and the way he was talking, he really seemed unconcerned, and I think he was a little bit more surprised that it hit him like it did maybe after 40 pitches, because he said that he told Rich Doobie before the game, after he was finishing warming up, that he felt the best he's felt all spring. So, it caught up to him quickly, but in his mind, certainly no concern. He was asked about the velocity of his pitches, and no concern there either. He said, this is the time of spring where we're all still working into shape. He said he would like to start getting into his 5-day routine. He thinks it's about time that he does that, and a little bit less long toss in between and the bullpens in between, and just get back into that regular season kind of routine. They haven't started that yet down here, but maybe that's coming real soon for Doc.
Well, I always talk about those dead arm periods, Murph, in spring training. That's one of those baseball terms or cliches or whatever it is. And in some cases, it absolutely does happen with guys. And a lot of times it's with veteran guys. So I think that's kind of what he's saying today was.
Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like, Will. So, like I said, you watched him today and you thought maybe coming off of last season you have a little bit of concern, but, really just listening to him talk and all the columnists and the writers will be writing about it. What he had to say was certainly encouraging.
All right, we appreciate that report, Murph. Nick Castellanos is the batter for the Tigers, first-round pick in 2010. Browns won a shortstop. Yuniesky Betancourt up with it. How about the outing by Raul Valdez? Just one hit over 3 innings. He's retired 9 in a row. And that'll take us to the bottom of the 9th inning here at Bright House Field. Up in Tampa. The Phillies return to Bright House Field on Thursday when they take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Will be on the Comcast Network beginning at 1 p.m. The Buccos coming up from Bradenton as the Phils continue their spring training schedule. Right now the Phils are down 10-5 here. They came into this ballgame 7-8-1. The Tigers 9-8-1.
They can moonwalk over Sarge's favorite bridge.
Changes for the Tigers. Kevin Russo's over third base for Detroit. Danny Worth goes from third base over to first base. And the new pitcher is left-hander Darren Downs, who takes over here in the bottom of the 9th inning. You can only moonwalk over the bridge, Wheels, if you're not wearing spikes. You have to do it with just leather shoes. That's it. Well, sneakers, as he said, but then leather shoes, too.
Sneakers, huh? Michael Jackson used to use leather shoes, right?
I think so. Darren Downs. 6 ball games, 7 innings, 7 strikeouts.
You say moonwalk, I think about him.
Well, he was referring to him before.
Hope so.
He told me I should ask my kids about it, and I said, well, shouldn't I ask an adult about it?
Yeah, your kids aren't going to know Michael Jackson from his moonwalking days.
Well, Downs will face LaRude.
Did you get one of those, well, you know what I means? You know what I mean.
I sort of got one of those.
And he gives you that wave off. Love that. You know what I mean. And we do.
You know, the thing is we do.
We do. He was talking today about some player carrying a lot of luggage with him from team to team. And it was one of those ones where I think he meant baggage. But you know what he meant.
0-1 the count to LaRue. Just 1 for 6. Steven LaRue should get some more playing time now that camp is starting to dwindle in numbers. Tommy Joseph has been sent back to the minor league camp after a really impressive showing. And Sebastian Valle, who was with Mexico in the World Baseball Classic, didn't get a whole lot of time up here on the big field. He's also back on the backfield. So that means that Quintero, LaRude, even Carlos Ruiz will get some more ABs here on the big field. Carlos has played a lot of road games so far for the Phillies. 0-2 the count. To the dirt, 1-2.
Well, you're going to have to get some guys ready, like a Quintero and Kratz, LaRude, as you mentioned, guys who have a chance to play in the month of April and handle the pitching staff. And Carlos is not going to be handling the pitching staff for 25 games.
1-2 the count to LaRude. We talked to Rich Doobie about that at the start of the year. Is there a concern defensively for Carlos to get back into the swing of things because he's going to be gone for the first month of the season? He said, no, not at all. He said, he's so used to it. And Charlie, thought this too. He's so used to these guys, and even the newer guys, whether it be a Mike Adams or a John Lannon, Carlos will get a chance to catch here in the spring.
Yeah, spring training, like it's a normal spring training for Carlos Ruiz, except for the fact that he's going to be suspended.
Ground ball to second. LaRude is retired. And one away. By the way, don't forget, Daily News Live is coming up at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet. There is plenty to talk about, including the fact that the Eagles have apparently released Nnamdi Asomugha. That's big news. A lot of movement going on already in the National Football League. Trades of wide receivers, signings of wide receivers. So full coverage on Daily News Live on Nnamdi Asomugha. And also some of the other NFL free agency that's begun. Mike Wallace of the Pittsburgh Steelers, fine wide receiver, has apparently signed with the Miami Dolphins. And that goes along with the trades that have been made over the last couple of days. The pending trades, Percy Harvin to the Seattle Seahawks, and Anquan Bolden to the San Francisco 49ers. Betancourt fouls it away. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Going to drop into right field, a base hit for Betancourt. Phillies get a base runner, second hit of the day for Yuniesky Betancourt. And now back to the top of the order for Inciarte, who's up for the second time. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up. Phillies also have to decide what they're going to do, not now, with Inciarte. You probably see his playing time increase somewhat as the spring moves on, because they want to see if they will keep him before having to offer him back to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think part of the problem with trying to see Inciarte is the fact that they're trying to figure out left field and right field at the same time. There's Ruben Amaro. Ball gets away from Davis. Up to second goes Betancourt. A wild pitch.
Yeah, when you have a Rule 5 draft player like Inciarte that you're talking about, you want to see him as much as possible, but it's not like you have a settled down outfield where you can just experiment with a guy like him to see what's going on.
See the players that were optioned to minor league camp: Tyson Gillies, Sebastian Valle, Mauricio Robles, E.J. Rosenberg, and Tyler Cloyd, all optioned out today. That ball will be a base hit into left field. Betancourt will be held at third. So runners on first and third with 1 man down.
Second baseman, Cesar Hernandez.
Well, now first and third, Cesar Hernandez will be the batter for the second time. He singled his last time up. A switch hitter now batting right-handed.
So Chase Utley in the game. He's been DH today, and he's on deck.
Sometimes if you see guys in for the entire ballgame, it means that they may not play the next day, and the Phillies are heading to Tampa tomorrow to take on the Yankees. That's not that to say that Chase isn't going to play.
Right, especially since it's a night game.
There's a strike at the knees.
The Yankees, they have a lot of problems. Wow.
How about the fact that they talked to Chipper Jones about maybe coming out of retirement?
I loved his line because a lot of people around us can identify with it. He loves life as a bad golfer. That was perfect.
It was Derek Jeter, I think, said, well, unless we're looking for a fourth in golf, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, he can't be more adamant about it, but he's probably flattered that would happen.
Chopper over toward the middle. Santiago gets one, and that's all they'll get. A run scores. So an RBI for Hernandez as Betancourt scores his second run of the game. Yankees have also apparently inquired about the availability of Derek Lee.
Yeah, and he didn't play last year. That shows you where it's hard to believe we're talking about the New York Yankees right now. They're trying to
piece it together.
Yeah, trying to coax Chipper Jones out of retirement, but they threw a carrot out there. So let's see what happens. Yeah, and then to bring a guy back like Derek Lee, who hasn't played for a year, and say, well, that's a Yankee kind of player. Man, stuff can happen, huh?
Big time. Chase Utley, 3 RBIs today, including a 2-run home run, his first one of the spring. 1 ball, no strikes, the count.
Chase Utley hit a blast here today. Ball carrying well to right and right center. If you hit it hard and get it up in the air, and he did. A little short swing. Such a better base now with his legs feeling so good.
It's that one towards shortstop, and that should do it. Diaz throws across the diamond. Utley is retired, and the Phillies lose to the Tigers by a final of 10-6. Well, they just couldn't overcome the Tigers' offense today. Ramon Santiago's grand slam, which was part of a 4-run third inning, gave the Tigers the runs they needed to win this one by a final score of 10-6. So the bottom of the Tigers' order certainly did some damage today against the Phillies staff. We'll be back to talk more about it right after this.